Прикольно посидеть дома. Я имела в виду у вас дома. Я так хотела увидеться. А до скольки ви работаете? Ой. До 12 ночі.
Хочеш знати, що це за коробки? Це повернення з великих інтернет-магазинів. Люди просто не забрали замовлення, і тепер вони потрапили до нас на склад. Тут може бути будь-що. Від техніки до гаджетів. Навіть брендові речі трапляються. Ми відкрили декілька штук, щоб показати вам. Усе новеньке, запаковане, нічого не зламане. Тому хто встигне, той реально спіймає удачу. Замовляйте зараз, доки не розібрали. Хочеш знати, що це за коробки?
Ну что, погнали, Brawl Stars. Давайте, показывайте.
Yes, just to add to their branding struggles as well. Don't even know what they look like.
But, you know, it's a region that just can afford to do so. They're just so mechanically gifted, and they always have been. One that, you know, everyone looks upon and just says, wow. So going into Bounty and Layer Cake, I kind of want to see this continuation from Feasible Gaming of bringing that to the forefront. It's a region that, you know, we can kind of see sometimes get nervous.
Восточная
especially when you're an
Азия, это
underdog.
да?
It's your first one final. Very hard to shake those nerves off. But, you know, when all you need is that one glimmer, and in that last set, I feel like that was maybe the starting point. They've got to maintain this.
And last month it was WWL in the same exact spot where they were 2-0 down and then made it a reverse sweep against none other than Reject. So WWL last month, the underdogs, they were nervous in the first two sets. They needed some security first to play some rounds to be truly warmed up, and now it's the other side, Feasible Gaming, that could turn this
Это что-то наподобие Барли, что ли, или мне кажется?
Willow and Dog are going to be banned out on the right hand side. On the other side, Mortis once more, Ems and Chloe out of the way. This Mortis ban is something we see so often from WWL. First pick now on the right hand side.
Well,
is going to come in handy here with his buffied gadget. Some more speed. Leon is one of the best bowlers in Bounty right now.
Super strong. Yeah, I really like that Leon first pick, especially because he can be so versatile as well. At the right moment, you can assassinate any brawler if you got a bit of help from your teammates, and he's going to be able to take a lot of the usual Bounty brawlers on his own as well, who are a bit more squishy. Yes, Layer Cake kind of makes it a little bit different. There's, you know, usually something more tanky, a little bit harder to kill, assassins, that kind of thing, tanks. So it makes it more difficult, but with a bit of help, it definitely works. Spike going to come in as well for WWL.
Я решил, ребята, вот сюда вот зайти. Тут вроде как вот бесплатные кристаллы. Целых 10. Спасибо. Мне давали 5 в прошлый раз. Ну давайте продолжаем на чемпионат смотреть. Так что у нас тут
kind of creep through with the global bans now that are in play. I'd like to see kind of like a squeak here. I feel like that could be one which would make a good pairing with the Leon. You don't want to be having that on the other side of the field. It kind of depletes the lollipop drop a lot faster. Brawlers like Meeple, like Kaze could definitely be an option as well, considering that the Willow band is there. She's another relevant thrower which could come in here.
Squeak is going to come in here for area control on the right hand side. A little bit squishy, nothing really against the Jean as well. They need a turret to put up against him, I feel. That's why Jean and Spike are such a good combination, because Spike technically a good counter to him and can pop up his little cactus against the wall. And he also has the damage once the Jean hits a pole. That's going to be a certain kill with Spike on his side. On the right hand side, some more aggression now next to the Squeak. They're going to pick up Kenji once more. Also one of their favorites, I feel, so far. We have seen him quite often from Feasible Gaming. Two aggressive bowlers, a Squeak, nothing really against the Jean. I'm not sure about this comp. I really like the Leon overall, but can he carry enough?
I mean, to be fair, Leon can, you know, still, you know, drop his lollipop drop if he needs to. He can throw it out as well if he needs to tank it for somebody else. So they do have technically something that can tank. It's just probably not one of the usual go-tos that you'd want to waste on something like that. Rico going to come in again. We saw this being used by Zeta Division to tamper on that brawl, obviously. It's hard to match up to him on these mechanical brawlers, but it did work pretty well in certain situations.
They had Rico and Spike actually paired with the Bull, so pretty much the Zeta Division comp, but with the Jean now instead. Let's see how well they will do. WWL still has the opportunity to close things out here.
I'm not a massive fan. I mean, the Rika should be really susceptible to a Leon. I mean, that's my biggest concern. The Leon is that brawler which, like, it's just the assassin here. I mean, WWL have played this map 8 times in their practice. They've won 4 out of 4 times. Feasible have won 18 out of 14. 18 matches and lost 14. They've screwed it far more.
Окей, так, давайте, я верю. Я надеюсь, красные победят в этой
a lot more practice under the belt.
I was going to say, they're winning 18 out of 14. That's some
Пока
good
что,
going. They're winning more than they've played.
красные лидируют.
But a good start, though, for the Rico on the right-hand side, getting some good control now through the mid, but Drake round the back is going to be a bit of a problem. Spike sticking to him, making sure he can't get round the flank. But Shigemion coming through the mid now, trying to get a few shots towards his super, and a life plant thrown into the mid. As the gadget, actually, it's not even lollipop drop. We're seeing the clone coming in, and it's the blue star separating the map for pretty much a minute.
I don't mind. I think both gadgets are decent, but the lollipop drop for me just has that bit more ability to navigate around things. That's a brilliant lane one there, which really, in my opinion, shouldn't have been done so. I think Rico should have fallen there, but nonetheless, it is what it is. WWL now, still slightly behind. But with those 3 stars with the Rico, that's kind of like the person which I think if I'm Drake on the other side, I'm looking to target.
Pull is there, little gadget pops from the Leon as well, but didn't really get very far, to be honest with you. Gadget throwing it, surely looking for the pull sometime soon to try and flip this game on its head. Moving forwards now, and Kenji is there. Goes super aggressive. I mean, personally, that's not how I'd eat to pull.
Yeah, not ideal. Kenji just finds as well to pick up. That's going to be fantastic piece of gaming now. 7, but the rig is still there. 67 now, just 1 star in it, but straight the way back. It feels like Feasible are just really comfortable in this spawn. Now of 11. They can afford to go the aggressiveness Kenji as well, but Meshi aggressive so heavily. So much to be done. I just don't know whether there's time to do it. Now there's 3 stars in it. 16 to 12. Such a close one, but Feasible Gaming still stay ahead until the very end. And again, now looking so dangerous from a team that was looking so shaky to start things off. That first set that they won has led on seemingly to a pretty decent run, which could go all the way to the 5th now.
Yeah, it does seem in moments like WWL kind of gave them that game. A couple of wasted gene pull in there, which should have been pretty tight on hits. But Blue Star goes Feasible's way again, and if they've got the exact same, they'll be going to a set number 5 to decide who wins this one. Another good hit there from
давай, спайка. Нет.
Spike trying to defend well, and is getting peppered down on Rico again. I know doubting this brawler a little bit, but so far it's the standout for WWL by far.
Yeah, I want to see a bit more from the Gene. I feel like if they can bring back more goods with that particular brawler and have the Spike and the Rico there for quick takedowns, swift in nature, it'll go quite well for them. So far, it's really been the same squad, the same team. Kenji there with the shooting slash coming in. Drake doing great work on this aggressive pull. But there's the Gene pull. We need to see more of that. That is like the kind of playmaker, and the spawn was just there for the Spike to help him take up. So more of that is needed for WWL.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. You've got to be able to make those connections. Spike hypercharge coming in now. Shigemion at risk. Evades some of those shots nicely. Another one thrown out. Curveball not quite going to connect on that second explosion. Minson goes super aggressive there and will go down. Blue Star still separates them. Yoplait not in the best of situations here, and Shigemion will go down. Good kill from him there, and some heals from the Gene to back him up.
Yes, much better. All hypercharged over. Not going to find really much of anything. It's a bit disappointing there for Minson. Drake, although HP 5, HP above his name there. He's just about hanging on. As Feasible are behind, they cannot afford to hand over more of a lead with just 20 seconds left on the clock.
Rico's still in a super aggressive spot considering they're winning. Gene, hypercharge available now, and Drake might get pulled in. He's got to be very careful here, and a super from the left to the right for the Rico. Gadget there, and Yoplait now at risk. Really low. Shigemion going to switch places, but will get killed. Super comes in from the Kenji, but there's the squeak hit, and that will flip it. And he gets the kills as well. Feasible stealing once more. And WWL handing games over, it seems. Now it's looking dangerous. It's starting to get really quite scary. And when the underdog team starts to find some wind in their sails, you've got to put an end to it. That was where, for me, WWL should have absolutely ensured that was a game win. And then take it all the way to a match point, put the pressure on. And
they did none of it. They faltered, they floundered, and now they're in a really tough position. And I feel like it's a lot to do with the amount of preparation that Feasible have done. These are the maps that they've prepared the most, and they're capitalizing down. I think WWL wanted it done in the first 3, and we're hoping it wouldn't get this far, whereas Feasible Gaming were playing the long game.
Are we starting to see some nerves from the South Korean teams here? They were 2-0 ahead. Last month, it was the same situation, but flipped. They were 2-0 down, and then reverse swept their opponent, Reject, in a phenomenal run. I have them down to maybe make it all the way to the grand finals after what we've seen in the monthly final in February. And now this completely new roster comes in and seems to be able to reverse sweep WWL. I don't want to jinx anything here, but it's definitely possible. We even see the face of Drake for the first time, the knees finally aside. Yeah, really good stuff from Feasible.
Yeah, I told you it'd be when we get a bit of celebration. we see his face. Yeah, really nice stuff from Feasible. But I do think WWL are the ones playing worse. I don't know if really Feasible are playing that much better. WWL at certain points just seem to be handing kills, handing games over, and you know I'm sure that Feasible are getting that little bit better. Really playing on off the back of this comeback and a few nerves here and there popping up for WWL. But it does seem like WWL are just playing worse.
That team pool you mentioned, Ark, right when the opponent is right in front of him already, that must have been a misclick. Some nerve stirring for sure.
Possibly for sure. And that's kind of what we kind of not necessarily expect to see, but we're quite forgiving sometimes to see. I mean, I think for me, feeling what Trav's saying, I think it just comes down to the fact that I just don't think the amount of preparation needed has been done by WWL. I mean, it's so apparent when you look at how many times they've been playing the maps, and this is another one that makes me really concerned because Feasible got a 73% win rate on. I mean, it's like they haven't really been preparing for their opposition on the side of WWL, and Feasible with so little to kind of like have in terms of pressure and so much to gain off the back of this kind of upset, they're thriving in this position now.
Feasible Gaming did win against Fennel in the lower bracket of the monthly qualifier. After the first 2 sets, I was kind of thinking, how was that possible? Fennel made it all the way to the grand final last month, then being beaten by Feasible Gaming, who's 0-2 versus WWL. Now I see that team finally come out of their shell. Chester's going to be the first pick here. We're on double swoosh now. This is going to be the last map. Whoever takes it wins it and gets into the semi-finals afterwards. We have Sandy once more bent out. We mentioned it before, probably the best gem carrier on the map like this one. Ember and Otis, a lot of area control out of the way from Feasible Gaming. Picking up that Chester on the right-hand side, then really just picks one more area control out of the way. Terra's really the only one left open, I thought.
Well, the Mo's going to come in then for WWL. I really do like the Chester first pick. It's been showing its face a lot throughout this region at the moment, and I feel like it's a pick that has gone under the radar for quite a long period of time, to be fair. So nice to see a bit of a resurgence in him. Mo, though, really solid, good against the majority of brawlers that are strong in this meta at the moment, so can't blame him for bringing that in. And the turnaround capabilities are huge as well, and the same for Charlie. Really solid, very good at carrying the gems, and listen, if you use the one, they're dropping all their gems, so the turnaround capabilities there once more.
It's going to be tough to play a Mortis into this as well now with Charlie, which I think is a really good draft, honestly, on the side there of WWL. Could be a Tara map also, so I'm looking to kind of see whether that particular brawler would come out to play, so to speak. Drake, who sometimes can have a moment on this map, I think Shelly as well is one of these brawlers which could be a final shutdown on the side there of WWL if we see it, and it is going to come through. Really quite bold, I've got to be honest. They've got a decent win rate with it on that side of the field, so I'm feeling confident they know what they're doing, but I still kind of feel like it's very risky when you get that potential Shelly final pick.
I'm kind of waiting for Terra and Spike here as well. For the first time here, WWL is not banning out Mortis. It's been a ban, I believe, in most of their sets so far, targeted towards Feasible Gaming, so they must be good with this brawler. There must be something. Chloe, by the way, now banned out 10 times in the 12 sets played so far. Banned out every single round, basically. Penny's gonna come in last pick. She's quite good, has had some showings also in the scrims. They still needed a mid-brawler to pick up those gems. Didn't want Janet. Penny is fine, I guess. I really still look forward to seeing that Spike and Terra now on the left-hand side. They need something more to address the Mortis other than the Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, Penny going to be able to splash through the Charlie pets. That's kind of about the biggest selling selling point for me, I think, at the moment. Shelley going to come in, and Mortis is going to have a real tough time here as well. So he's going to have to really work hard to get kills. I don't mind the Mortis, to be honest here. I think it can turn around games massively, and I think that's exactly what they need at this moment. A bit of pressure, make the hands of their opponents a bit shaky, knowing that the game can be turned around at any moment. But that Shelley is going to shut it down so hard.
Would we now say finally, Ark, WWL has dropped?
I mean, a Shelley final pick when you're playing into a Mortis should say it, but I don't know whether or not. Just going to balance the camera there. Whether or not it's going to be the case, I don't know, because I mean, it's very hard for me to see a way in which people don't kind of continue this momentum. I mean, I kind of feel like they might still do this, because I just don't think, like as Trump said, the WWL have been playing at all well in these last two sets. They are so much more apparent in the team that are struggling more. But you should expect the Shelley final pick with the Mortis to come out with this.
Absolutely. Well, Chester down the right-hand side. Not really got the matchups that they want so far, and Mortis doing a good job, but another self-cocoon then from Mameshi doing a good job of keeping himself alive. Gem-wise, WWL have half the amount of Feasible. So a nice start for Feasible with the good pressure from Mortis early on. He's not going to mind going down here and there if his teammates are picking up gems and not really got much risk on them. Hypercharge is available. Shigemion still playing a defensive Chester here, just guarding this Penny, knowing that Mo's got the super.
Ooh, that was not the greatest of times. I think that you've got to be a little bit more cautious with playing Charlie with the gems, and just the Mortis is coming in as a great counter. It favours you, but back the right person to have them, most importantly. But I'm just surprised we're not seeing the Shelley sort of shadow the Mortis in any way. They're really placing a lot of faith in this Charlie to have to defend against it, and it's not looking too promising in my opinion so far. Look at this, Drake gets the gems as I said it, comes back out. I mean, Facebook could absolutely do this, and they absolutely shouldn't be able to.
And Shigemion gets a kill there as well. Hypercharge failed from Mameshi, going to be the only kind of saving grace in this match now. 5 seconds left, needs to make the connection, but not going to be given the angle as the wall is still in the way, and we'll see a tank as well. Match point now for Feasible Gaming, and yet again, as you said, there was no defense of the Charlie. He just sat there getting battered all game, and the Mortis is having a dream.
Feasible have put so much practice in, and it's showing. You know, to have a Shelley final pick, you know, it's a massive statement. It's going to say, I am looking to shut down this Mortis. I have not seen it really be focused on that lane whatsoever. They were on adjacent corners, to be honest, and it's just not showing. I mean, Drake's playing it with such confidence as well. Good break there from the Shelley, but I mean, Drake's got 2 gems. He's got gem carry. But then again, I think with Mo, it's probably the second best on the side of WWL. They've got to get their act together. They really do at this rate. They're going to be going home in the quarters.
Absolutely, and that's not what we would expect. That's all against these newer players on the side of Feasible Gaming. Good cocoon this time, and now just stand on top of it, get the kill. And he's still kind of being allowed to, run riot. That should surely just be a Shelley sits on top of him and gets the kill. But at the moment, I mean, a good kill from the play up top, but he's going to get taken down quite fast by the Chester, and he'll retrieve a lot of those gems. 5 now, and 3 for WWL.
Yeah, really disappointing. And, you know, our team to watch for this month could very well be going out if this continues on. Penny turret really starting to rain down some good. Drake again continuously getting these kills. There's a Shelley on the map with Hypercharge, and it's going towards a Penny. Like, you've got to focus on Drake. He's so dangerous, and it's like WWL are completely oblivious to this fact.
Well, Mo is there. Half the defenses now, and they do get the takedown. 6-6, and another gem picked up by WWL puts them in the lead, but Feasible quickly get the equalizing one. A nice splash there as well from the Penny. Hypercharge turret being placed behind this unbreakable wall. The supers galore available for the side of WWL. Now that's going to be a kill, and he's just handed gems over. Mortis can grab these and run away, and that's an absolute gift from WWL.
I don't understand why you would favour the Penny. Like, get rid of the Mortis, and the Penny would be pushed back regardless. But now Feasible Gaming 10 seconds on the clock could well be causing the upset of the day thus far. WWL are throwing everything they've got, including the kitchen sink, and it's not going to be enough. Feasible Gaming have full reverse sweep this match. The underdogs are fresh to monthly finals, and in their first they get the dub. They're through to the semis. What an upset!
Great cosplay too, absolutely incredible there. Good stuff from Feasible Gaming. She came on, really giving us a good player cam here. But as much as I want to praise Feasible Gaming, I just can't help but slander WWL. So many times, so many poor decisions. And not only did the Shelly kind of go after the penny and not the mortars, but he's handing like 6 gems directly over to them. I just don't understand how you can lose 3 sets in a row when you look so good off the start in such questionable fashion.
They're getting a taste of their own medicine in this one. Reverse swept Reject last month and now getting reverse swept themselves. They looked so good in the first 2 sets. 2-0 immediately, some of the quickest games we've seen all day. But Feasible Gaming seem to wake up. As you mentioned before, Trev, is it Feasible Gaming just playing so well or WWL not playing that good?
They did play better, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking everything away from Feasible Gaming at all because they absolutely did play well. They had 3 great sets, 3 great performances. But even with good performances, with how well WWL are playing in the first couple of sets, as you just mentioned, they should not be losing this game in a reverse sweep. That should have been a 3-0 in my opinion. Great performance from Feasible Gaming though, and absolutely the more deserving team of this semi-final spot. Kill-wise, I mean, the Penny's done a great job there. Drake's had his moments, got some good DPS, but yeah, a gift from WWL, I feel.
It was just all over the place, you know, like, I felt like they absolutely had a draft that could win it. They picked the Shelly, but then there was just no coordination whatsoever. Feasible Gaming played this about 19 times in practice. They won it 14 times. I mean, on the other side of the field, WWL played it 6 times, they won it 3 times. I mean, that is showing to me clear signs of a team that are playing it for the long game. They want to stretch this out, and they're not just counting out the idea that they're just going to kind of get this done in 3. They came in by far the better prepared team on the day. And I was just kind of expecting the confidence of last month's WWL to come and shine through, really, because that's really what makes the difference more often than not.
Do you think that though is because WWL just kind of expected to come in here and sweep?
That's what I'm saying.
They're probably much prepping more for the semi-final.
Yeah, but you can't do that because you haven't got there yet.
In my opinion, WWL are a team who should be prepping for the semis. They're a team who should be thanking, you know, the gods that they made for semis, in my opinion.
I think you just can't underestimate your opposition. You know, like, you've got to prepare for every stage of the competition. You can't just go in and be like, well, this is going to be clean, easy. This team, they're nobody. We've got this.
I mean, this is especially surprising because at first I think they were to play against Crazy Raccoon in this monthly final, right? With a little bit of a bracket change because Reject came back. So WWL not prepared for this one, not prepared for the long run at least. They thought they would sweep them 3-0 and that's done. Well, they lost now. Unfortunate. I do want to point out once more, Chloe has been banned out, I think, 10 times from 12 sets played so far. One of the most banned brawlers. Picked up only once, so only a single set. He was neither banned nor picked, yet he still hasn't shown up in the global bans. Why is that?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, to be fair, if like the Bulls or, you know, the Crows that are getting global banned weren't global banned, I feel like they're probably getting banned just as many times as well, to be honest with you. So I think it's just more of a choice that teams are using these global bans to get brawlers that they don't want to see or play against out rather than the best brawlers at the time.
So he's not annoying enough?
Oh, he's absolutely annoying.
It's annoying for sure, but I think it's manageable. I think it's more like that. It's like when you've got a Bull, it's very, very unmanageable, and I feel like there's too many places where you can see him really have a supporting role, whereas Glowy is providing that support, but it's not unbreakable. You know, you can overthrow it. There's ideas of like speed or, you know, aggression to be able to take care of it. But if Bull's got high of a charge and Super's sitting behind a wall, you know that the inevitable is coming no matter what. So I'm with Trav. I think that you've got to focus on those heavy hitters, and then, you know, sometimes now with the global bans, you have a bit more grace to kind of target a ban as well to a team-specific idea. We saw that in the kit. I think that was a great example of that. A brawler which is a real pain that maybe just as your own team personally feel like you stand a better chance with this brawler just never showing his face.
Global bans are something we've seen this month for the first time. I think so far we've seen 2 approaches. Either you ban out brawlers that nobody would pick anyway, right? Like the take, the Edgar.
Сейчас, подождите.
not as good as to ban him in the global ban phase already, I feel. We're now, when I have one more look at our bracket, 3 quarterfinals out of the way already, we're now heading into quarterfinal number 4. We have one team already standing in the semifinal number 2. Feasible Gaming is now waiting for their opponent.
Yeah, I mean, this last match, I said this one's probably going to be one of the better quarterfinals, and it's one that we didn't expect to happen at all. Reject getting here on a bit of a technicality. I think Crazy Raccoon have been dealt a bit of a tough hand here as well, because they would have undoubtedly had a bit of an easier quarterfinals matchup than Reject if they didn't make these quarterfinals, obviously on that technicality. So, bit of a tough game for both of these, but Reject going to be more than happy to be faced with Crazy Raccoon rather than not being in the monthly finals at all. So, I think they're going to be pretty pleased about their position.
Reject definitely has a good hand here, as Crazy Raccoon seem to be always finding wins in the World Finals. They are the current world champions, but in their own home region so far, they're not doing too well. It appears they're still struggling to beat the teams back in their home region. Back with us now, Kenny. You feel like Crazy Raccoon is breaking that curse now, making it into the semis?
I think so. I think this is a clear opportunity for them. Look, Reject aren't the same looking team that we saw last year. They've already suffered several losses. They're just thinking they're lucky stars. They're even showing up in a top 8 here today after losing twice. Most teams only get 2 lives. They got granted a 3rd. I think CR fully take advantage of this. For me, I think they're making a grand finals today. That's what I plugged in at bit.brawlstars.com. So I'm clearly going to expect them to get to this first hurdle.
The quarterfinal we've been all looking forward to. It's Crazy Raccoon versus Reject. Crazy Raccoon once more qualifying through the upper bracket just like in February, and then Reject beaten by 2 South Korean teams. WWO, they had the opportunity to get revenge in the qualifiers. In the monthly finals, they lost to them in a 3-2 sweep, as we've discussed already. Losing to them again 3-2 in the qualifiers. They're still standing here today. They have a chance of redemption, Trev.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think Reject are a team who are going to want to take advantage of this kind of lifeline that they've been provided. If you can go from a position of, I'm sure they were absolutely distraught not qualifying a team at the standard player on this roster. They've got to have been incredibly sad that they didn't qualify. So then be given this extra chance to get points on the board, try keep up with this, the opposition. In my mind, you're looking at the Crazy Raccoons, Rejects, and Zeta Division should be at the top of this region. So they're going to both these teams. Is a huge game for them because they both desperately need points on the board after a pretty disappointing first month. They both need teams to try and catch up with this incredible tie-in that we've got at the moment in Zeta.
Desperate is the word that comes to mind for this match. Both of these teams need this win so badly. Reject in more ways than one. They've already let themselves down this month. Last month was an embarrassment, I would say, as well. And CR need to get back on the wagon a little bit. I mean, this isn't the start that we were looking for. Fennel looked like a seemingly great team last month. ABC at the time, of course, but even they showed cracks. They didn't make it this month either, so what does that say about CR? I think for 2025 World Champions, this is a team coming to this regular season, I expect it to be second. I thought they would compete with Zeta Division, but Zeta Division has been running this region for so long. If you're Crazy Raccoon, I think you're looking to prove that you've still got it. Last year, number 4 seed in this region, they don't have enough spots to afford that this year. They have to get off to a better start.
And our story around Crazy Raccoon is really how well they perform on the international stage and not really in their home region. Now, they first need to get into this stage. Brawl Cup only has 3 monthly finals leading up to it. You need to get those crucial points. And Crazy Raccoon so far, dropping out in the quarterfinals in February, did not give them too many points. Reject on the other side as well. Both of those teams now need to make it into the grand finals this and next month to get that spot.
This is the thing, I'm absolutely taking top 4 in my region if I win World Finals. But that's just simply not going to be enough this year. They've got to do better in the home region. They've got to put much better performances on in the monthly finals, otherwise they're not going to be making any of the events, never mind winning Worlds.
That is very true. You can't win Worlds if you don't play at Worlds. These are our global bans for this series here. Bull and Leon banned out on the left-hand side. Bull, because of the buff, he's super strong. Leon as well. And then Chloe, just as we talked about it, is finally banned out. We mentioned, why is Chloe never global banned? He's banned out so often. There we have him.
I mean, I'm not surprised. We've had him banned out so much, and we've had him played once, and he's got a 100% win rate. So I'm not surprised that he's going to be global banned. I'd have thought he'd have been global banned more often, don't get me wrong. But 92% to 8 in terms of predictions from the public here as well. I think that's very heavily, obviously, towards, Crazy Raccoon. If you've got to put a prediction on the line when Reject have been playing as bad as they have, you're going to go Crazy Raccoon. So I'm not surprised with this. This is 100% closer than that shows.
Kenny, you just see the poll, I hope. Who do you think is the favorite in this one?
I think we've seen a lot of CR. I think very clearly this should be the favorite. Look, Rejector and Rare Air, they're a third life. You don't get that in a lot of monthly finals. I've seen CR this month. I think they're performing a little bit better than last month. I think they've shaken off the rust. I think they know how much this match means, and especially this modern Brawl Stars age where we have things like Brawl Cup on the line. We don't have 2x points in the second half anymore. It's reduced down to 1.5x. Getting off to a hot start, not just for those points towards the end, but also you're seeding early. They know they've got to get a stop. They have to find a way to win this match. Likely need to get a stop in his 8th division or else division are going to run away with this. I think they see the big picture. I think they're going to take care of business here. I think they've thoroughly done their homework. There's not a map in this quarterfinals that they haven't scripted.
The casting desk all say Crazy Raccoon will take this one. 92% of the people voted at event.brawlstars.com also say they win. Let's see, who's it going to be? Crazy Raccoon versus Reject. Let's see how it all pans out now. We head into the draft in just a second here. But who's going to be the first pick already out in the open? We talked about it. You want to break open the map or play something on the left-hand side to go over water. Angelo is going to be banned out here by the left-hand side. Jean, Jaeyoung as well. Global bans. A lot of the brawlers we've already seen before on this map are now out of the question, Trev.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this bow first pick. It may have not worked in the last series we saw, but it absolutely should have done. This is the thing, it should be working in those kind of situations. Byron's going to come in here as well. Should probably be paired with something like an Ollie. The Ollie's been, you know, a big brawler on this map, so I think that would be a great shout to pair the long-range healer up with something that can go a little bit more aggressive, but then again, you're going to be feeding so many supers if you bring a tank into it.
It's a natural tandem. Eve going to be the brawler that traverses over water that this side's going to go with, and an added benefit is, of course, going to be the extra spawners. One thing that spawners do, they're going to walk over mines regardless. They don't have a mind like some of these other real players, so they're just going to keep walking forward. On the right-hand side, full cheese strat. This is why we've seen brawlers like Doug and Gray Trav stick to his stomach right now. Look, it's going to be that Gray plus Doug, and that combination is so sickening to face off against. It's really frustrating to deal with. It is going to feed supers in terms of the Doug, but as long as the Doug stays ahead of the curve, I think it's going to be just fine for them. I'm curious what this left-hand side elects to do to try and deal with this.
In my little notebook today, I have so far Eve is the best counter to Bo. Bo still gives super fast to his teammates. And Dog and Gray are two brawlers you don't want to have as supers. Once both of them are charged up, they can basically just walk ahead, Gray teleport in, Dog just does not die, and they can easily get a pick off the other side. Cordelia's very wise choice here as they can take someone out into the shadow realm of this duo that will just teleport in. Let's see who's gonna be in this first set of the series. I do hope it's not gonna be a 3-0. I do believe it will be, Trev.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think the Cordelia's a great shout on this one. In a kind of composition that Reject has, you want to force these one-on-ones. You don't want them playing as a team because that's the entire point of their composition. So bringing in a Cordelia's obviously going to have to work to get the super in the first place, try to get within range. Then you're going to be feeding as well. So you've got to be cautious. Off the start, Rejects probably want to get hit so Shu can get his super a little bit, but this is heavy pressure coming in from CR early.
Moya has full access to this top-hand side as well, just due to the wall break, and now they're all in a corner relying on each other. Doug doing his best. Grand Piano going down just for a little extra coverage, but now Moya, clear space just to walk this up. I mean, Reject haven't moved a muscle. It's just CR throwing down shots, looking for any frags, a teleport through from Levi just to attempt to throw down some pressure. CR unfazed by this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a waste of TP there as well. Grand Piano coming down again, breaking on some of their own grass, but it's not like they're trying to hide. They're very happy being, as the map says, out in the open. Milfred throws this one back. Super comes in from Moya, trying to get some damage in. Levi really low, and he's just not even going in. He's just trying to allow his teammates to try and get the kills, but the heals aren't there. And that's exactly what they're doing. Hypercharge available now, but some shots going in. He won't want to waste that kit, and he just go down. I mean, you know, Reject stayed alive for so long, but Crazy Raccoon get the game.
Despite a little bit of a cornball strategy, I say little as if lightly. I mean, this is very much an attempt of just feeding supers. They haven't managed to do anything other than charge a gun hypercharge. No kills from that as well. No real pressure coming out of Reject. It's just CR definitely having their way. Moya once again flanking this right-hand side. Has the super available, looking for an isolation play. Doug left all alone. Certainly a weaker brawler, doing his best in the Shadow Realm while the two other teammates take care of business up top. But Creo secures a kill on Levi on the top left-hand end, and now CR have the numbers. This is much more difficult now especially without Gray on the map. In this 3v2, certainly going to be favoring CR.
Moya's doing exactly what Moya needs to do. Taking the dog out of the way, letting his two teammates take advantage of the brawlers that are left. And brilliant plays from Crazy Raccoon so far. They're not stepping out of line. They're playing it really well. And now Shu also doesn't have the Gray to be able to TP in with this hypercharged super that he's able to provide. So it's going to be really tough to make use of that. Forced to use a super of his own, and he's going to get peppered down as soon as he's back. Surely falls here as Moya brings him into the realm. If anything, I think that saved him and preserved his life for a little bit longer. But Crazy Raccoon win the game nonetheless. Super scrappy Brawl Stars. Cheesy as hell from Reject. But CR come out on top.
I mean, it wasn't even close though. Like, if you're gonna run this sort of strategy, there's been no real signs of it working so far. And I'm not sure what they change up here, because no matter which side they go down, especially if they open up this map early, you're either feeding access to the mid for Moya, who can charge that up. As long as he's pressing forward, you can see around him. He's got a realm where he can charge up his super, and then he can drag somebody like Doug down. That's where he has an advantage. In the meantime, Doug's just absorbing shots. Tensai charging super off the extra gadget going down. The Frail, of course, can feed in the spawners. It just feels like there's too many things that can overwhelm Reject as it progresses.
I think the main thing is they need Levi to get a super and not waste it this time. I think he had one throughout the entirety of the last game, and he tried to kill Moya, and it just didn't work. He needs to be able to stay alive so he can provide those hypercharged supers to him, and he can just TP in and get kills off the back of that good damage. The spawner's coming in, but really not getting a lot. He has the super now, but still need to await this Shu hypercharge, and there it is.
They are waiting patiently now to dive in. There's the pesky trap that they were looking to set. They take advantage of the dimensional door that you mentioned. Use a Shu super, and it's a guaranteed kill. But this Byron super getting some serious value as now Mograyo has a chance. Left-hand side looking for a flank. The bow mine will go down. It will provide them a little extra coverage as the totem marches them on forward. Levi going to absorb a few spawners, but Tensai left all alone. Doesn't want to waste this super or hypercharge, and is just going to move on to the next round. Finally, Reject starting to show some life. I think mainly due to that Gray super.
Yeah, I mean, those are the things you've got to save and not waste, and he does have the hypercharge available now, so got to wait for the super and just get it as well. Now, just awaiting this Doug hypercharge, and they'll be soaking up shots of their own, feeding supers to be able to get Doug this super and hypercharge as well. Grand Piano falling once more, and they should be able to bring this bow totem down, but he should be far away from another one again.
Oh, and a hypercharge from Tensai, connecting with all three brawlers, but the heals from Doug providing a lot of HP for a lot of these red roster members. Mograyo gets one, gets a double, and then Moya cleans up. So this is going to be tied up in our game number 2. CR just one round away. On the other side, Reject do have a tie available with the teleport. They also have a Shu super, so they're certainly in this one.
Absolutely. Bow totem down again. There's the hypercharge. I think he actually provided his super and hypercharge to him as well, so I think that might have been the most perfectly timed super from Moya ever. I think he wasted an entire Doug hypercharge there too. Tensai going to be able to pinch Levi in here. He does go for the TP on top of him, gets the kill and should be healed up, but actually will go down. Moya needs to survive this now and does just. Hypercharge available and brings Doug into the realm. Very, very cautious now not to die in this situation. One shot now is Shu. Just narrowly surviving, and they'll just wait and play this out as a 2v2.
That was a pivotal moment because now Moya has burned a hypercharge and a super just to stay alive. In the meantime, Shu still has an extra life available with the hot dog, but he's facing the green fog closing in. Melty, Shu trying to work their way up. Moya jumps away, and now these extra spawners will force them back a little as well. This could be a longer range affair. Moya going to press up against this wall, try and do his best to make sure he cuts off bow entirely. Damage being dealt to Melty, another super being charged up from Moya. He makes contact. His good is gone for the other side. They know this. Shares the super as Shu will absorb all of these spawner shots coming in. A little extra poison drilling down as well, and those bow mines won't be enough to get a stop. Great execution from CR to deal with the cheesy strategy.
A second later and those bow mines would have been lethal, but quickly cleaned up then by Crazy Raccoon. Listen, I tried to remain unbiased here. You know I do, but I'm so pleased with that Reject.
Justice for Brawl. Yeah. I mean, look, it just needs to see it. I just need to see that we can beat it. We can do this, community. We've even seen to the point where Doug's been banned. Ladder warriors out there are certainly screaming whenever they face that composition. These pro players are in the exact same boat. Look, Shu,
Нет.
that's a tough stat line. The DPS of 4, 0 kills. We know he did more than that. I mean, the extra stats, if you watch throughout that, he's going to be riding those extra lives. The first game was kind of blown, like you mentioned, with a little bit of good analysis. When that Gray super missed, they just weren't charging up shots to get a second opportunity, and as a result, that's a dropped set. Reject, good attempt. Definitely showed more life in the second game there. I think it was a valid strategy, despite how cheesy it is sometimes. But CR were fully prepared for this. I think Tensai was just easily able to charge supers. The gadget, especially with it fans out, can do some serious work in terms of cycling that. Spawners were on the ground at all times. Moya's mechanics were there. He was landing Shadow Realms. I think as that persisted, CR were just inevitably going to win.
I was going to say, if you didn't touch on it, how well Moya played that as well.
For sure.
Really realming at the best moments. I think he wasted an entire Doug hypercharge in there. There was, he hypercharged the Grey. The Grey was about to super in. He gets realmed, can't do anything. Waste of absolutely so much of their kit. So, lovely stuff overall, I think, from Crazy Raccoon. I don't want to, say Rejects played bad. There's not a lot you can do with that composition when a player like Moya's doing as well as he was.
For sure. I think Moya's in a spot, too, where sometimes he gets overshadowed just by 3-time champion Tensai. It's kind of hard to occupy the amount of star power on that team. But for me, I think he's arguably one of the best players of 2025 as a season as a whole, especially in the postseason between LCQ and the World Finals. He was a man that stood out to me for sure. Definitely picking up for his team here after they desperately need a win. The opening month did not go their way. Now as we progress towards open business, I see a brawler that's been very popular in EMEA in the band stage, and that's going to be Ziggy. It's somebody who got a major buff, and for me, I don't expect to see it as much in East Asia, but tomorrow more over in EMEA, I think you're going to start to see more shades of it. Fink's going to be first overall pick for CR. Very safe, very dependable, something we've already seen today.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame them for it, really. It's not a bad first pick at all. As you said, safe and dependable. You can't really complain about that. That's the majority of things that you do want on Hot Zone. We're over to the side of Reject now. Question is, do they go the Grey again and try and TP once more? They quite easily could. That's the thing. It's not like Finks has got masses and masses of DPS to stop them. Chester going to come in. Another one of those more versatile brawls that we've been seeing at the moment with Spike banned out. It's kind of a logical pick.
Yeah, if they go Grey, they could set up for a later aggressive brawler or a tank to go through that teleport. But on top of that, I see Finks on this left-hand side. Bow not banned, so they could go for a bow mine. So I think they'd have to watch out for that, because you can just cover the bow mines right on top of that teleport. The second they pop out, of course, they're going to be triggered by those mines. A lot of the times, those teams will be running the extra supercharge from the new totem as well. That's one reason that bow has certainly escalated up our meta. A lot of the times, though, just in the early onset, they're going to be looking for some anti-tank. Just a lot of general coverage going down for both these teams. They're not overcommitted to a certain strategy.
Yeah, well, the Rust is being brought in. I think that kind of leaves the Draco to be desired for their side. Feeding those hypercharges over to him can be a huge thing and can really decide games. So now it's a question of whether a Crazy Raccoon want to go quite heavy on the kind of tank defensive side. Finks doesn't have massive DPS, and his super's not going to stop someone who's in your face. So something to just kind of be a little bit cautious about. But so far, I really do like what Reject have brought to the table. Just seems super versatile, and they're going to take the Draco away and just ensure that Reject side's not having that as pretty much their dream brawl.
I'm curious if they round this out with something like maybe an Amber for a little area control. I mean, the right-hand side have not really committed to a tank or something more aggressive, so I wonder if they want that. Instead, they're just going to double down. I think Kenji is certainly in a fine spot against the Colonel Ruffs. They've got the Draco as well. If you're playing open business and you're this right-hand side team, I feel like you can try and do something like a hard counter in Shelly if you really wanted to, maybe an Otis for the fat splatter / the mute button, but clearly you're going to need something here. I think if they went something aggro or tanky at this point, they're just kind of forcing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to get Nita, and I don't mind that at all. The Nita Chester combination, Ruff's going to be fed a lot of supers as well from these tanks and assassins coming towards him. I don't mind this at all from Reject. I really don't. They've just got to hope they're not going to be overwhelmed and pinned in spawn. The Chester Nita have got a lot of work to do. Absolutely cut out for them, but it's a game that they should do very well.
The only thing that I worry about is them maintaining the objective. I think on paper these are good matchups, but this map doesn't naturally fit Nita as much. I mean, it wouldn't have Shelly or any of those other hard counters I necessarily mentioned too. Certainly a lot of work to be done for Reject. This is a very aggressive, tanky strategy, one that is setting up for fireworks on the CR side. They're up 1-0, trying to right the wrongs of month number 1. Meanwhile, Reject just trying to find their legs in this multi-finals, in this 2026 as a whole.
Proud to stay in the zone so far in a matchup against Levi in the mid. Tensai. A few bounce shots from Melty will get his super and get this wall down, and he'll just get obliterated by himself and Levi. I mean, he's in a good position, but he's got a bear on him now, and that's going to be tough to deal with, especially when he's going to be running that bear with me, faux fur as well, just healing it up. And now Reject do take the lead, and Draco pinned it all the way back in spawn.
Shu will have to maintain on either the Draco or the Kenji and just fire down shots, or just try and work with where the walls are not down. That's something that this strategy kind of contrasts a little bit, but another bear going down or a Demogorgon at that as well. Moya being forced away, and they're not able to maintain any positioning in this mid. I really thought that was going to be more of a struggle for Reject, but they had an early lead. Now they're getting hypercharges down. They're wasting Milcreo's super. This is awesome stuff coming out of Reject.
Yeah, I think they're pretty pleased about the position they're in at the moment, and these bears just chasing down the tanks and assassins of Crazy Raccoon, and power-ups pretty much across the board here. Nita just awaiting one of his own, but that's just thrown a little bit further up the map and breaking some of those walls to stop Draco having a fun time, and they're just getting destroyed here everywhere on the map.
Yeah, CR are circling this entire hot zone, but they haven't found a way to penetrate yet. Milcreo forced all the way back, despite not necessarily having the range gain. They've completely shattered the map with the wall break. It allowed for them to set up success in the middle of the map. Nita was cycling, I don't know, 3 bears at least there. But the paper matchup certainly paid off there. I think my brain's so used to seeing something like Ring of Fire, where in those wide open spaces we get all these area control brawlers, but instead, even with the wall break, they're positioning Nita very well to take those one-on-one matchups, and it's just super feeders. A little too aggressive out of CR, maybe not setting themselves up, especially when there was a 6-pick available and something like Nita that worked out really well.
That's one way to bounce back then for Reject, and much better start this time for the Kenji, who gets 2 of them super low and just narrowly misses his super on both. But Milcreo and Moya have this zone at the moment. There's the full first wall break going down. It's a bit longer than last time. And Nita yet to have a super as well. Gets one now, but Tensai going super aggressive. And Shu just vulnerable for a second there. Now being pushed all the way back to spawn, and the Nita there doing a job on Milcreo.
Look how many shots Milcreo had to exhaust just to take down the bear. I mean, it's free supercharge in general, no matter how you spin it, no matter who they lane. Kenji has to walk forward, Draco has to walk in a straight line. They're going to be able to feed supers. Tensai finally grabs a kill. CR doing their best to maintain a little positioning in this mid. Now with the Fink super going down. Shu's still standing tall though, despite the slowed down shots. Reject building a lot of time in the middle. Tensai trying to dive forward, but just to no avail. Reject have an answer for everything CR are throwing at them.
Hypercharge there as well from Levi, and he's kind of just left a bit of a loss of what to do with it, considering everybody just ran away when he popped it. Tensai gets super. Might have been useful to use that hypercharge there, but cycles it out, actually gets a good shot on someone else too. This bear just pushing Milcreo straight into the shots of Russ, and he can't do anything about it. I thought he'd just deal with the bear quickly. It was only 1 shot left, and then face off against Melty. But they're back in the mid, and Tensai has a hypercharge ready to go.
Felt like things didn't quite commit to either. I think if they picked one, it would have been a better result of a shot going either way. Another bear going down as well, something Shu has been able to cycle quite easily throughout this. Now percentage points piling up. Super going down on the left hand in. Milcreo going to have to regroup with his teammates here for one final push. Otherwise, it's going to be Reject running away.
The Hyper Nita bear coming in, that's doing a lot of work on them. Shield available on Nita now as well, and that's going to be the game in the set. As I said, great way for Reject to bounce back. I think that was really solid from them. You can't complain about that after a pretty disappointing first set where you were just pinned in spawn, unable to get kills. To come out and absolutely decimate your opposition time and time again like that has got to feel good.
Just overcommitted, I think, to the tank and the aggro. The Nita was such a clear-cut anti-tank way to go at the end there. I didn't necessarily think they would pair Nita with the wall break in Colonel Ruffs, but it actually worked out really well. I just think Nita on paper had such easy matchups into both of these brawlers. I think if you're a Crazy Raccoon, you're kicking yourself a little bit. I think they made this too difficult on themselves. All 3 of the brawlers are great, but the strategy of the whole, it wasn't diverse enough into something where Reject could respond with a quality 6-pick.
It's just a tough draft, it really is. You'd have thought they'd accounted for it a little bit more with what they went for across the board. You know, they already had the chest that they go 2 really tanky, aggressive units. They're going to double down. It's inevitable. And Chester's, good enough to deal with these brawls on his own. So when you add another one, it's kind of a 2v2 of tank counters versus tanks, and then the mid versus mid, which was going Reject's way as well. So yeah, it's kind of a flip, a mirror of the stats we saw in the first. 2-0-2. Really poor from Crazy Raccoon, but that's just all draft.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Draco especially is a brawler that I think people have grown to know in CR's history. history, especially in the postseason runs through World Finals and even World Finals in 2024. It's a brawler they're no stranger to. It's worked really well on a lot of maps for them, but to see Moegoku, a brawler that I just mentioned, so tenured, one that I thought of as one of the best in the entire season last year, especially in the postseason run, dropped 0 kills, 64 DPS with this brawler, certainly goes to show how much Reject dealt with it so easily. So I think in the future, this is just a reminder that sometimes too much of a good thing isn't a good thing. I mean, it's just so easy, it's telegraphed, and that's why the 6th pick is so valuable in this mode.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we're watching teams as like teams and players as seasoned as these guys, yes, they occasionally make mistakes, but if they're going 0 kills, 64 DPS on a mode, you know it's the brawler they're playing rather than the mistakes that they're making. So, you know, you've got to feel for them there. Well, I mean, I don't really, because it's their draft, but like, in terms of actual gameplay, getting bullied that hard, I feel for him. Willow first pick coming in then on layer cake 4, set number 3, 1-1 so far. The Ziggy, Juju, and Shade bands coming in then from Crazy Raccoon. I like them a lot. Crow, Ems, and BB across the other side as well. So we're probably going to be seeing a lot of BB bands in general, just because it kind of slipped through those globals. So smart, I think, from Reject to get out of the way with the first pick.
Two particular brawlers I'm looking out for from an aggressive standpoint. Ali and Mortis come to mind, especially when you look at the band stage there. I think that's partially the influence for going Willow first overall. You not only get a thrower that can sit behind those walls, but you also get one that deals particularly better with those aggressive brawlers. If they charge at you head first, you can hit them with the super, make them walk their way backwards, even do damage to enemy teammates. So I'm sure that's part of the influence for that.
Yeah, it's smart. It really is. You need a thrower, or you don't need one, but when they're available, you want to take them, and one that can counter tanks is definitely a good shout as well. So smart. Mortis coming in then along with the Squeak, a bit more aggression from their side, and the ability to evade a few more of those Willow shots is definitely welcomed, rather than bringing in something super aggressive and tanky that kind of just walks. You're able to dash a bit more as well.
Curious if something like Cordelius comes out here to try and deal with that Mortis specifically. Squeak from the long distance is going to be really frustrating, can obviously tag those walls, and the Squeak shot around it can kind of go through. Interesting strategy, and I think a well-rounded 2-3 turn there. And now I think if you're CR, you have to learn from past mistakes. They got to make sure they're well diversified in dealing with this enemy composition. So Spike, for multiple reasons, he's a great brawler as a standalone. I don't think he's always seen as the greatest into Squeak specifically, but he does have popping pincushion, he does have life plant, and not only can push enemies back now with the Buffy, but on top of that, it's an anti-aggro, and I think that's very important when you see something like a Mortis in your face.
Yeah, I mean, he does so much damage with that popping pin.
It's a good gadget, man.
It's really good, especially into the aggression of Mortis as well. Kaze comes in then, going to try and contest the Mortis for that mobility and that first star as well, so I like that from the side of Crazy Raccoon. And yeah, just to go back to Spike, really solid. Obviously going to be able to fight off against the Mortis and probably stop further aggression too.
Curious if this ends up being a Larry for the right-hand side. You see Ziggy and Juju out of the way. That kind of alludes to the fact that on the left-hand end, they want to take a thrower here early, but a lot of times in scrims when I've seen teams draft Willow, they're oftentimes matching with Larry and Lori. It also helps deal with the aggression from Kaze. If not, it gives them kind of a flare of their own back wall. Rico coming in as a result. It's one that East Asia, I think, particularly on this map, has used a lot. It's not one that I've necessarily seen in at least this much in other regions, but clearly it's working out so far. I mean, a lot of these teams are answering with Rico in their drafts.
Yeah, it's been around so much here, pretty much just on this map. So clearly, a brawler that this region likes so much. But as you said, we haven't really seen it anywhere else. So I'm not sure if it's kind of just like countering the East Asian meta that they tend to bring in, or if they've just got a lot more faith in this brawler than other regions have. But it's done okay. I'm not massively sold on it. It's not been bad, but it's not been like, oh wow, other regions need to be picking.
Yeah, outside of when Chitapa was playing this, it didn't give me a reason to necessarily put full faith in it. It's certainly a good brawler overall in the game, I would say on the tier list standpoint, but I don't necessarily see the vision as much specifically for this map. It just must be one that they're confident in, like you mentioned. Start out though, Blue Star actually swinging to the Reject side. I was curious to see who would win that battle between Mortis and Kaze.
It's actually going to be the life plant rather than helping pincushion here as well. He throws that super aggressive. I don't know if they're just kind of awaiting, see if they can get someone knocked back with it. Does give a bit of a heal there to Tensai, who's going to switch forms, try evade that super, and does quite nicely. We'll take the 1v1 against the Mortis. Both of them missing quite a few shots there, and Tensai will actually go down and further Reject lead.
Melty capitalizing on what felt like a mistake the Life Plant once again being thrown out. It's a way to bounce back the enemies, but also be a giant meat shield for you. Allows Malcreo to kind of walk this forward right-hand side. Melty has a supercharge up. He's flashing it a few times, kind of daring CR to walk forward. I think Tensai, especially if he gets a dash off, can dodge this rather easily, though.
Mortis going super aggressive. Rico super really not doing a lot, but Shu will pick up the kill, and Levi really low. One curveball away with that damage gear. It's not found. Shu going hyper-aggressive, trying to bait the super of Moya. Squeak throws one out on the left-hand side. Time's getting low, and Crazy Raccoon are eventually going to be forced to make a move.
Yeah, 0 kills so far for CR. I mean, this is definitely not what we're used to seeing out of the big dogs. Melty still standing far away as Levi's going to be lobbing up shots, and Moya going to get in a really good position here. Has a super as well, so if Shu decides to dive at him, guess what? Mind control going down. Going to be running straight at Squeak, the squishy brawler, and his teammate. Spike lobbing up shots as well. The needle grenade's not doing enough, though. Life Plant on the ground as a shield, but they're slowed down. They can't quite walk up there in time. These bounce shots from Melty, perfect. They need to buy just enough space and time with only a few seconds on the clock. CR doing their best. Shu just running away to the other side. If they get a double kill here, it doesn't matter. The man that they needed was Mortis. That was actually such a smart play.
Yeah, really, really smart. Knowing that, you know, the 5 up, the blue stars on the Mortis, and the 2 of them are only worth 5, you know, you can just go. And I don't blame them for it. Really, really smart plays it is. And Reject, you know, they had a tough time getting to the monthly final. They eventually made it here. Giving an upset to Crazy Raccoon in this situation would be absolutely wild. Blue Star yet again goes Reject's way and forces Crazy Raccoon into this aggressive position.
Love that decision making at the end. Just an automatic checkmate. Sure, it was anticlimactic, but it was really intelligent from Reject. So once again, the same start. Blue Star. CR have to find a way to just grab kills at this point. I thought this composition was a pretty decent shout. I wasn't leaps and bounds favoring either of them, but I certainly thought this would be a more even fight instead. Despite Reject, what felt like being on their back heels for an entire 2 minutes or so, have still found the way to be the only team to grab kills.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just CR waiting. They waited a little bit too long for the moment in the last one and were cut a bit short by the Mortis just running away. To want to try and get a bit of an earlier kill this time and flip this lead back in their favor. Shu going in and will get the kill. Didn't see Moya using the super, but they will get the trade thanks to him burning down. And that will give Crazy Raccoon the lead for the first time in this set.
Change of pace. Moya still holding on to that super as well. Didn't actually use it. Mortis diving in. Maybe he was anticipating that Melty would follow up with the super of their own from the long distance, so I think holding on to it. Now Akaze Fanstorm going down. Levi going to be blind as a bat. Going to be back all the way into spawn. This time, let's see how CR deal with the pressure, because we know Reject did well in game number 1, but right now it's CR under the gun.
Well, another Rico super goes and misses. Melty bouncy castle here to heal up, but it's 5-3. Still in the lead at Crazy Raccoon and Moya trying to push out, but Levi around the right-hand side. Good pinch in and super available for the Mortis. So that's something they've got to be extremely cautious of in these back lines.
Levi cutting off this left-hand side as well, so if Tensai dives forward, it's going to be slowed down and knows it too. Going straight at Shu here, really interesting decision-making, as that's an easy frag for Shu. Going to follow up with the Creature of the Night, and now it's Reject leading the way. Going towards the back spawn, 10 seconds to go, and Tensai has to climb his way up the entire map. Moya, no shot in line for this super. Melty positioning himself left-hand side as Malcreo throws one down. It just looked too easy. CR never really had a chance at the end. Once again, missing the moment. Reject, this team that was ruled out. A horrible start. Didn't even technically qualify here today. Are somehow leading the 2025 champs. This would be quite a shakeup in the region if Reject are able to hold on.
And due to them coming in very late into really seem to struggle against their own regional mates. They win in those internationals, but they can't make it into monthly finals consistently, or into round finals in the monthly finals consistently. This year, with so little monthly finals, they really need to make those count to make it towards World Cup and World Finals.
I mean, it's a tough position for them to be in, you know, having an opponent who they didn't think they were going to be facing to start with. Don't get me wrong, it's tough in itself, but that opponent being Reject, it makes it really difficult when they're a team of this caliber, who obviously haven't qualified, been thrown into the bracket, and you said, you know, they may have had less scrims, but in turn that's less data for them to work off, and maybe they were already preparing for a different team. It's kind of thrown a bit of a spanner in the mix, and don't get me wrong, I'm not making excuses for Crazy Raccoon, because Reject are just playing better at the moment, but, you know, it's got to be tough for Crazy Raccoon at the same time.
No excuse for me either. I think CR, if you're in their spot, they've been training for the monthly finals, and now they're playing a team who again, they lost twice in the qualifier stage. Sure, they were close matches, but nonetheless, the expectation just has to be higher. When you look at the big picture in this region, Zeta Division won the first month. They're leading the way. CR with Fennel removed from the equation have an opportunity to go the distance. They should be easy favorites on this lower side of the bracket to gain points. Instead, they're dropping the ball right now. Still a lot of Brawl Stars left to be played, but if they lose this match, it is red flags for me for the rest of the year.
And before Reject came back into this monthly final, they would have faced off against Feasible Gaming. Crazy Raccoon versus Feasible. What we just seen from Feasible, I think that would have also could have been a 2-1 now for Feasible at this stage. They played super well against WWL. They're waiting in semi-finals, and I'm not sure now if we still get that match today. Crazy Raccoon versus Feasible. Right now it looks like Reject are going to be the one moving on into semi-final number 2. Double Swoosh is the next map. Again, Sandy's going to be banned out here. 100% ban rate so far on this map. Chester and Spike have had some great showings already today. They just have a lot of area control, a lot of damage, and do well on a bushy map like this one. Bona coming in draft. We do like that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the bow here. Really, really solid. And you touched on it already. Chester and Spiker. Two of the brawls we've seen pop up probably the most throughout today, to be honest, because they're just slipping through the ban phase. You know, they're not that good, but they're just that tier below where they're super versatile. They're going to be good against pretty much any brawl, or not good against. They're going to have they're going to be competent against any brawl they get put in a fight with. So I really like it, and especially on this map as well. Chester can do some big things coming out the bush, dealing big damage in the hypercharge. Disgusting too.
Keyword you mentioned was versatility. I think that's like brawlers, Spike, Chester, even if they're not necessarily the tippy top of the meta, maybe top 3 or 4 kinds of brawlers like they have been in past seasons. In a draft setting like this, when there's strategy involved, there's just so many different things that they can answer, and especially on a map like this, Spike has a nice favorable lane, he can work the long one, and then Chester also grants you visibility, something that Janet's really good at as well, but of course is going to do good with.
Оу. Ну, окей, сейчас войдем. Пойдем опять смотреть сейчас на Брау. Блин, походу я не смогу попасть. Что ж, ребята, что я могу сказать? На этом видео у нас все. Ну, а Байрон вам говорит хороших игр. И всем пока. Ну, что тоже. Вопрос, а где устул, урод? Ладно. Всем пока.